So let's start the session. So in this session, first episode, it is based on the physical geography, that to cosmology chapter. Okay. So in the cosmology chapter, we will be discussing about the celestial bodies. So mainly the stars, planets, galaxies, and the asteroids. Okay. The first question is mainly about the stars. What does the color of the star indicate in it? So the keyword is color of a star. So it says option A, illumination. So B, temperature and age. C, distance from the earth. And finally, the distance from the sun. So let's see what is the explanation. So this is how the usually stars look. So first of all, we should know what is star. The word star indicates it is the self-illuminating objects in the universe. So universe is made up of good number of stars and group of stars, we call it as galaxy. So first of all, star is self-illuminating. Only the stars are self-illuminating objects in the universe. And we know why the stars are self-illuminating, because of the nuclear fusion reaction occurring at their core. So what is nuclear fusion reaction? Stars are made up of mainly hydrogen and helium. So two molecules of hydrogen unite and turn into helium. This process is called as thermonuclear fusion reaction. So during this process, they emit the heat and light. So because of which we get the solar heat and the solar energy, solar light. So the color of a star indicates both age and temperature. If the star is in the blue color, it indicates it's in the youth stage and its temperature will be very high. See, 25,000 degree Kelvin heat. Then comes the blue color or blue to white color. Its temperature is hardly 10,000 kelvins. Whereas the temperature when it what the color looks like turns to yellow, it is in the medium stage. Our sun is also very medium sized star and its surface temperature is hardly 6,000 degree Kelvin or temperature. Then orange color, finally the star turns into red color. So red color indicates its old stage and the yellow color indicates its medium age. So temperature will be 6,000 and here it will be hardly 3,000 degree Kelvin. So that means color of a star indicates both age and temperature. Okay. So that means according to the given options, it is both temperature and age. Clear? Okay. So second question, what is it called when stars are formed in a certain shape in a group? So we now got to know that what is a star and the group of stars, we call it as usually galaxy. The star along with its few planets is called a solar system. So Milky Way galaxy is an example for the solar system. So what is Oort cloud? The solar system is surrounded by some dust particles which are called as the Oort clouds. Okay. So this is the example for the Milky Way galaxy. Okay. So Milky Way galaxy. Group of stars are togetherly called as galaxy and our sun, our solar system lies in the Milky Way galaxy. Clear? So option is C. When the stars are formed in a certain shape, we call it as a galaxy. Clear? Then third question. All the celestial bodies in the universe are revolving around one another. The main cause of it is the. So why the celestial bodies are revolving one around the other? So option A, magnetic power. B, the escape velocity. C, both A and B. And finally option D, gravitational force. Okay, so let's see the explanation. So this is the typical image of our solar system. So this is our sun and all the 8 planets are revolving around the sun. So it is mainly because of the gravitational force. Okay, so gravitational force. So what is this gravitational force? In simple words, gravitational force refers to m1 into m2 by r square. So what is this formula indicates? Mass between two different objects and the relative distance between them will decide the gravitational force. So that means within our solar system, sun occupies almost 99.98% of the mass. So because of its excess mass, it accelerates the highest amount of gravity. So compared to sun, all our planets are very least in size. So that's why they are under the gravitational influence of the sun. So they are moving around the sun or revolving around the sun. So that means according to the explanation, option C, because of the gravitational force, all the celestial bodies are revolving around one or the other. So that means the Earth-like planets, they are having the satellites like moon. So compared to Earth, Moon is very smaller in size. So that's why Moon is under the gravitational influence of the Earth. So compared to Sun, Earth is very smaller in size. So that's why Earth is under the gravitational influence of the Sun. So Earth and all the planets are revolving around the Sun because of the gravitational influence exerted by the Sun on each planet. Clear? So that is the meaning of gravitational force. Clear? Next question. Which of the following element found abundantly in the universe? So here the keyword is element and in the universe. So here the option we have helium, option A helium, B nitrogen, C oxygen and D hydrogen. So here you must be very clear. The question is demanding about the element found in the universe, not in the solar system, so not in the just our earth or the atmosphere. So it is completely universe. So before that, we should know that universe is made up of, okay, so universe is made up of the stars. So right now we know that stars are the self-illuminating objects in the universe. Universe is mainly made up of the stars. Group of stars we call it as a galaxy. So stars are made up of the hydrogen and helium, but majority, almost 90% of the stars are made up of hydrogen only. So if the stars are abundant in the universe, certainly the hydrogen element will be abundantly found in the universe. So that means option D, hydrogen is found abundantly in the universe. Because of the two molecules of hydrogen are uniting and turning into helium, this process only we call it as nuclear fusion reaction. So that means for the nuclear fusion reaction also, hydrogen is the main fuel. Clear? So next question. The theory of the Big Bang explains the origin of the universe. So when did this Big Bang occur around? So we know that Big Bang theory is the main hypothesis which explains the origin of the universe. So this question is asking, when did this Big Bang occur or took place? So option A says 14 billion years ago, 20 billion years ago, C 36 billion years ago, and finally D 52 billion years ago. Let's see. So what this Big Bang theory says? So around 14 billion years ago. So from this today generation, around 14 billion years ago, there was no concept of the universe or the solar system or any other planets or galaxy. So all the present day stars, group of stars, galaxy, planets, satellites, all they were united together in a single point of orbit. This is called as the singularity. Okay, singularity of the atom. So because of the excess density, it got exploded one point of time. So that duration was around 14 billion years ago from the present generation. So this is how the Big Bang took place. Typical image. So because of this Big Bang explosion, whatever the matter present within this object, it got completely unevenly distributed throughout the universe. From there only, the concept of space and the time are created. So without the, before that, there was no concept of the space and time. From thereafter only, the space and time concept was created. Clear? So it was happened around 14 billion years ago. Clear? Next, who propounded the nebular hypothesis? So one more theory related to origin of the solar system. So the question is asking who propounded that. Option A, Immanuel Kant and Laplace. Option B, Christopher Fermi. Option C, John Macquarrie. And option D, none of the above. Okay, so let's see. See, the word first nebula indicates. The word nebula refers to complex gaseous cloud. Complex gaseous cloud. This is how it looks. So according to Immanuel Kant, who proposed this theory, he says around 6 billion years ago or some point of time, the solar system was formed mainly because of the condensation of these kind of gases, or the universe was made up of the good number of these kind of gaseous clouds, which he called it as the nebula. That means the word nebula refers to complex gaseous cloud. Again, it is the word, it is complex. It means it was not only made out of the one or two gases, it was made out of the good number of gases like hydrogen, helium, carbon, oxygen, nitrogen, xenon, krypton, etc. Apart from this, it was also made up of the good number of dust particles and even the rocky debris. Okay, so because of the fusion of these gases or the matter, So because of the fusion of the hydrogen helium, they turned into stars. And because of the fusion of the heavier elements like carbon, oxygen, nitrogen, and even some dust particles and rocky debris, there was the formation of the planets. So this nebular hypothesis purely explains the origin of the solar system. Clear? Okay. So that means nebular hypothesis, it was proposed by Immanuel Kant and Laplace. Clear? Next question. Which of the following pairs is correctly matched? It is not a match the following. It is asking which pair is correctly matched. So list A, list B. So James Runnell, father of American geography. Frederick Retzel, father of human geography. Finally, William Morris Davies, father of Indian geography. So let's see the explanation. So here we know that Frederick Retzel, he is called as the father of human geography, and this person is called as the father of Indian geography. James Runnell. Why is called so? So he was the Governor General, he was the Surveyor General in the British Indian period. So he first prepared the map of the Bengal, because Bengal was the initial capital of the Britishers. So before 1905, when it was shifted to Delhi, before that Bengal was the capital of the British India. So later he calculated the coastal length of the India. So because of it, he is also called as the father of the oceanography. So he calculated the complete coastal length of the India. So again, he also prepared the map of the complete British Indian provinces. So that's why he is called as the father of Indian geography. And he is William Morris Davies. He is called as the father of American geography. So here, James Runnell should be father of Indian geography. William Morris Davies should be father of American geography. But the option B, Frederick Retzel, father of human geography, is correctly matched. So option A, 2 only. This one is only correctly matched. Next question is, who wrote the book Meteorology? Option A says Pythagoras, B. Philolaus, C. Aristotle, and D. None of the above. So this book, Meteorologica, it was written by a scientist called as Philolaus. Okay, so he wrote this book regarding the cosmology and again related to origin of the solar system. Like that. Next question. Which of the following sentences are incorrect in relation to the theory of the nebula? So question is asking incorrect statement. A nebula is a cloud of complex gases. Right now we discussed it. Next, the least denser gases were at the periphery and the highest density gases were at the center. No. Next, stars were formed by the process of nuclear fusion. Finally, low density objects and dust particles combined to form the planets. So, let's see what is this nebular hypothesis. So, we know that the word nebula refers to complex gaseous cloud because it was made up of the hydrogen, helium, low density elements, carbon, oxygen, nitrogen, krypton, xenon, dust particles, and the rocky debris. That's why it is called as the complex gaseous cloud. So, once this nebula started to rotate, it attained a flat disk shape. Initially, it was in an imperfect shape or an irregular shape. Due to continuous rotation, it attained the flat shape, disk shape. So, which he called it as the accretion disk. So, once the accretion disk was formed, so there was a centripetal or the centrifugal forces. So, both the forces were occurring. So, because of the centripetal force, attraction towards the center, low density elements like hydrogen and helium, they started to fuse at the center. So, due to continuous friction over a period of time, there was a gradual increase in the temperature. It reached almost more than 1.5 crore degree temperature. So, because of this highest amount of temperature, two molecules of hydrogen, they turned into helium. That process we know, it is called as the thermonuclear fusion reaction. So, because of this process, at the center of the nebulous, there was a formation of the stars. So, that initial stage of the star formation, it was called as the protostar. And at the periphery of the nebula, there was the accumulation of the higher density elements and the dust particles and the rocky debris. They condensed, they collided, they adhered together, and they took the shape as the planets. Okay, so this is the story of the birth of the solar system. So here it says a nebula is a cloud of complex gases. It is right. The least denser gases were at the periphery. No, the least density gases were at the center of the nebula. and the highest density were found at the periphery, not the center. So these two words are interchanged. That's why second statement is wrong. The stars were formed by the process of nuclear fusion reaction. This statement is correct. Again, see, low density objects and the dust particles combine to form the planets. No, high density objects and the dust particles, rocky debris, they combine to form the planet. So, because of the low density objects, fourth statement is wrong. So, it is asking incorrect. So, except 1 and 3, 2 and 4 statements are wrong. So, that means option D. 2 and 4 statements are incorrect. So, next question. Which of the theory tells us about the present universe is expanding? So, not only origin of the universe is also expanding. So, which theory it was said by? So, option A, nebular theory, B, tidal theory, C, both A and B, and the theory of Big Bang. So, let's see. See, we know that Big Bang theory. So, it explains that around 14 billion years ago, there was single point of object or the singularity of atom which got exploded. So, because of which objects or the matter within this single point of object got unevenly distributed throughout the universe. So, gradually the temperature cooled down and there was the formation of the positively, negatively and the neutrally charged protons, electrons and the neutrons. So, gradually they combined to form the nebula. So, from the nebula, again the present day stars, planets, galaxy, all they got evolved. So, according to this theory, it says that, for example, if there is you take just a balloon, empty balloon, and mark some points with a pen. So, you keep on filling the air within this balloon. So, what happens once the balloon expands, the distance between these dots also keeps on increasing. So, in the similar way, the distance between the stars and the galaxy is also increasing. So, that's what the Big Bang theory says. So, according to theory of Big Bang, the present universe is expanding. Clear?